believe preparation well underway for Saturday's game out in Treviso. Ospreys 0 from 3 at this stage in the Pro12. Not the start of the season perhaps you would have hoped for and planned for.
No, it's not something we take kindly around, and being 0 from 3, it doesn't sit well. It's pretty painful to see the fact we're 0 from 3, but some of it's in around the circumstance of what it is, and ultimately there's no one's going to help us get out this. It's up to ourselves to make sure we come back to the training field, how we perform, how we train, how we get better week in, week out, and hopefully get the performance we want in Treviso.
I suppose it goes without saying that there's been a lot of work done in the last 2 weeks, the last 10 days since the Edinburgh game, looking at the whys, the wherefores, and how we are where we are. What are the thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think obviously it's a little bit difficult in around how many we got away and a couple of key boys injured, but that's just the nature of the beast in around the sort of the World Cup. It's how we find a way. We felt tactically we weren't too far away up in Edinburgh. The boys battled hard, but there's still a lot of improvements need to be made, and going to Treviso, hopefully we'll get that right.
You talk about the Edinburgh game. The first half wasn't perhaps easy on the eye, but we went in at half time in the lead, and you thought perhaps that this is something we can build on into the second half. Yeah,
look, it's something that we may not be pleased on the eye, but it's just the way we felt it was the best way to go up there and get a result, and know an experienced team Edinburgh are, and we needed to play in the right areas of the field. I thought we'd done so for the first half hour of the game, and I thought we held it together pretty well, but then we just got sort of strangled towards the back end of the game, and we couldn't sort of find a way out of it.
When you have a defeat like that, disappointment the last few minutes when they pulled away from us, I suppose what you want to do is get straight back into the following week. So having a blank week because the World Cup perhaps wasn't the best thing for the Ospreys.
Yeah, look, it is what it is in around these fixtures. It isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something you just got to get on with. And I think with such a young group, it's always good to get more hands-on time with these guys, and in between, it's getting them a little bit further down the track. And like I say, we've got a lot of young guys out there who are just babies in around the sort of the league season and things, but and there's a lot of stuff that they need to get upskilled on, and it's great for us to have that in between time. So I suppose you could look at it as a negative in the fact of there wasn't another game around the corner, but it's enabled us to get our hands on some of these younger boys and put a little bit more skill development from.
You talk about the youth in the group. What's the mood like amongst? Are they still up? How do they feel going out there and feeling disappointment 3 weeks on the bounce? As
a coach and staff, that's for us to worry about in being 0 from 3. It's something that we want the players. We know it's really painful from, and they hurt then, but there's no good looking back and around with 0 from 3 and getting suffocated with that sort of pressure. It's something. The only thing we can do is do our jobs better, and the individuals do their roles and skills. Everything we talked about, last season, every game we go into, it's about the individual doing their job for the team, and it's something that's the only thing we can go back to. And then once we get that spot on, we will get the performance, and then we'll hopefully get some points on the board.
You touched on last season. I suppose there were different challenges last year, where we were written off at the start of the season and went on a winning run, which made people perhaps sit up and take notice. This year it's the other way around. And how do you, as a coach, as an individual, how do you sit down and deal with situations like that?
Yeah, I think it's not just looking at the outcome. Obviously, it's not something we want to be as an Osprey. It's not something we're used to, being 0 from 3 in around the first 3 games of the year. But it's something that when you take everything into context, you get the bigger picture of it all. And it's the realisation, and some of the younger guys are finding their feet earlier than probably we would have wanted to in around these sort of seasons. But it is what it is. We know what sort of end of the season we are. We're providing a lot to the World Cup. Some key boys have taken some bumps and bruises and some major injuries, and it's probably you're dropping people in a little bit earlier than you would like and putting them in around probably some young guys. But it's something that we've got to accelerate their development in around it, and I think in around the positive, without trying to put a spin on it, we're bitterly disappointed to be 0 from 3. But then you look at Sam Underhill, Rory Thornton, how they're developing through this window, and it's something that we've got to keep focusing on that and making sure the individual gets better. So then the team performance will look after itself, and then, like I say, get some points on the board.
You mentioned 2 young men who've been at the fore in the last few weeks, standing in for some world-class players in Justin Tipperick and Alan Jones. So as well as they have done, it's important to remember that they are young men, 19 and 20 years old, and not Alan Jones and Justin Tipperick.
Yeah, exactly, and it's something like we had Owen Watkin against Munster, and it's through these we get tested pretty hard in around these periods. But it's something, like we say, it's not it's not an excuse. It's not something we're going to run away from. It's something that we've got to be better at what we do, and we've got to do it quicker, and we've got to get the performances in.
It's probably a sign of where Welsh rugby is at the moment, and there's been a lot of talk about budgets over the years. When you look back 4 years after the last World Cup, and you were involved with an LV Cup team that were playing during that World Cup period. It was an LV Cup team that probably boasted more experience than what you have at your disposal to go into the Pro12 at the moment.
Yeah, definitely so, and it's like looking at the international caps 4 years ago and that kind of thing. It's something that we are inexperienced. We have got a young group, and it's something that we've got to deal with, but it's something that's exciting in its own right, and how we're going to get those guys up to speed quicker than we've ever done. It's something that we knew. There's, like we said last year, there's always going to be those painful moments, and in and around learning, you've got to come through those difficult times, and you do get it is a roller coaster riding around it, and in particular a World Cup year, whereas if you sort of included Webby and Eli and round there, we'd be sending 13 to a World Cup, and with adding some of those injuries, it does get more stress on some of those young kids, but it is what it is, and it's something that we've got to look into the positive end, and the experiences these guys are going to get, and hopefully it'll benefit the squad further down the line.
That's important. Remember, we are only 3 games into a long season. Not necessarily saying it's going to get better. There isn't a night on a white horse running in to rescue the Ospreys, but everyone is pulling in the same way. Everyone is working hard together to start moving us up that table.
Yeah, and in around this group, there'll never be any question around their work ethic, in around what they put in around the training field. There's definitely no question that. It's just making sure we get better quicker than we've ever done, and making sure now we go to Treviso, not going there with the weight of 0 from 3 on our shoulders, just going there to express ourselves and making sure we put in a performance that's Osprey worthy, and if we get that, then I'm sure we'll get what we deserve.
And that's a Treviso team, like yourself, some of the internationals back from the World Cup following Italy's exit, followed a week later by Connacht, who are sending 2 players to the World Cup. So that's a sign of the challenge the boys still face, but we can look at it positively, and the boys are up for it.
Yeah, oh no, exactly. It's a serious challenge which we're undertaking, and we're going to be positive around it. And if we get the positive performances, then these guys will really experience from that, as they will from losing up in Edinburgh. It's not something that it's something we like doing in around losing, but to gain experiences, there's obviously highs and lows within team sport, and that's where we're at this minute in time.
And looking at Connacht next week, 1:30 Saturday afternoon kick-off at the Liberty Stadium. It's a time for supporters to come out and get behind the young Ospreys team and show what the cause means to them. Yeah,
definitely. It's like, as you say, when in team sport, it's something that'll be that you do get those roller coaster rides, and something we're in a bit of a blip at the minute, but it's something that we've got to fight our way out, and I'm sure the supporters will be behind this young group when it comes to Connacht.